I've always been the invisible daughter, the reliable one, the boring one, the one who shows up early to help set up family gatherings and stays late to clean, while my sister Simone makes her grand entrance, fashionably late, to thunderous applause. My name is Marley, and I'm a tax auditor. Go ahead and yawn. Everyone else does when I tell them that. My mother certainly does, right before launching into another story about how Simone just landed another modeling gig or booked another luxury vacation. Marley, honey, could you grab the mimosa pitcher? Mom called from across our weekly family brunch table. And maybe loosen up that cardigan. It's making you look so severe. I poured her drink, ignoring the comment about my clothes. The cardigan was cashmere and cost more than Simone's last rent payment. Not that anyone would notice. Oh my God, everyone! Simone burst through the front door, perfectly timed to interrupt the quiet conversation. Rhett proposed. The shrieking started immediately. Mom jumped up, knocking over her fresh mimosa. My baby, let me see the ring. I grabbed a cloth and started cleaning the spill while everyone clustered around Simone. The diamond on her finger caught the light, throwing sparkles across the wall. It's 5 carats, Simone announced proudly. Rhett says nothing less would do for his princess. Speaking of princess treatment, Mom gushed, we should start planning the wedding immediately. Something grand befitting the occasion. Dad shifted uncomfortably in his chair, the same way he had 5 years ago when his business collapsed. I watched his hands tighten around his coffee cup. Actually, Simone said, Rhett and I were thinking of having it at the Bellamy Hotel. They have this amazing ballroom. The Bellamy? I couldn't help interrupting. That's at least $50,000 for just the venue. Simone rolled her eyes. God, Marley, not everything has to be about budgets and spreadsheets. This is my special day. Don't worry about the money. Mom waved her hand dismissively. We can always tap into the house equity. It's practically paid off anyway. My stomach dropped. The house. My house. Though they didn't know that. Not yet. Besides, Simone added with a smirk, some of us chose careers that actually pay well instead of counting other people's pennies all day. I bit my tongue, like always. If they only knew those pennies had kept this roof over their heads for the past 5 years. Every mortgage payment, every property tax bill, every repair paid in full from my boring accountant's salary while they lived in blissful ignorance. Oh, Simone clapped her hands. That reminds me, we're having an engagement gala next month. Black tie, of course. Zaylee's handling the social media coverage. She pulled out a thick cream envelope and slid it across the table to me. Try to wear something festive. Maybe Christine can help you shop. You know, something that doesn't scream IRS audit. Mom laughed. Now, Simone, be nice to your sister. Marley does her best with what she has. I opened the envelope, scanning the details. My eyes caught on the venue cost. $25,000 for one night. That was exactly what I'd paid for the emergency roof repair last winter, the one Dad still thought insurance had covered. We're going all out, Simone continued. Daddy said we could use whatever we need from the house value. It's not like anyone else needs it, right, Marley? I looked up from the invitation to find everyone staring at me, waiting for my usual acquiescence. The good daughter, the reliable one, the boring one who never makes waves. My phone buzzed, a mortgage alert. I pulled it out, hands shaking slightly as I read the notification. Congratulations, your final payment has been processed. 5 years of secret payments, 60 months of swallowing their jabs while carrying their financial burden, all leading to this moment when they were planning to cash out my investment for Simone's fairy tale wedding. I smiled tightly, tucking both the phone and the invitation into my purse. Sounds wonderful, I said, standing up. I should get going. Some of us work on Sundays. Typical Marley, Simone sighed, always running off to her little office. I paused at the door, looking back at my family gathered around the brunch table. They had already forgotten I was leaving, focused entirely on Simone's ring. By the way, I said quietly, though no one was listening anymore, I'll definitely be at the gala. Wouldn't miss it for the world. And for the first time in 5 years, I meant every word. The pre-engagement dinner was exactly as excruciating as I'd expected. Mom had rented out the entire rooftop of La Maison, where a single glass of wine cost more than I typically spent on groceries in a week. Marley! Rhett's voice boomed across the terrace. Still keeping America's taxes in check? I forced a smile as he approached, Simone draped across his arm like a designer accessory. Someone has to. God, how do you not die of boredom? Simone asked, sipping her champagne. I'd rather shoot myself than stare at numbers all day. Speaking of numbers, Rhett winked. We've got some exciting plans for that old house of yours. Prime real estate like that, just sitting there. Criminal. I gripped my wine glass tighter. What plans? Oh, don't worry about it, Mom cut in, appearing beside us. We'll handle all the details. You just focus on, well, whatever it is you do all day. The memory hit me like a physical blow. Dad in the garage 5 years ago, surrounded by foreclosure notices, his head in his hands. I've lost everything, he'd whispered when I found him. The business, our savings, the house. How do I tell your mother? I'd made the decision that night, sitting at my kitchen table with my laptop open to my banking app. The refinancing paperwork had been simple enough. Dad's signature wasn't hard to replicate after years of watching him sign my school forms. Marley, Simone's sharp voice yanked me back to the present. Hello? I asked if you're bringing a +1 to the gala. No, I replied. Just me. Shocking, she drawled. You know, if you'd just let me set you up with someone... I'm good, thanks. Are you, though? Mom tilted her head. 33 is getting a bit concerning, dear. Rhett chuckled. Hey, nothing wrong with being married to your job. Someone's got to keep the IRS running while the rest of us live a little. I excused myself to the bathroom, hands shaking as I pulled out my phone and dialed Christine. They're planning to sell it, I hissed when she answered. The house I've been paying for. They're going to cash it out for Simone's wedding. Tell them, Christine said immediately. Marley, this is insane. You've been carrying them for years while they treat you like garbage. It's not that simple. Actually, it is. The house is legally yours. I helped you with the paperwork, remember? One word from you and their whole fantasy comes crashing down. I leaned against the bathroom wall, closing my eyes. Dad would be humiliated. Your dad's pride isn't your responsibility. Neither is Simone's wedding or your mom's social status. Before I could respond, I heard Mom's voice outside the bathroom. Of course we'll get at least $500,000 for it in this market. Marley won't mind. She knows her place. My blood ran cold. Knows her place? I whispered into the phone. Did she actually just say that? That's it, Christine said firmly. I'm coming over tonight with wine, and we're planning your revenge. This ends now. Back at the table, Simone was holding court, describing her dream wedding. The flower budget alone is $50,000, but Daddy said we can make it work once we sell that old house. Dad stared into his whiskey, silent. To new beginnings, Rhett raised his glass. And goodbye to that outdated property, am I right? My phone buzzed. Another notification. Mortgage payment confirmed. Congratulations on your final payment. Property deed transfer complete. I stood up abruptly, my chair scraping against the floor. Leaving already? Mom sighed. You always duck out early. Some of us work for a living, Simone added with a smirk. Yes, I said quietly. Some of us do. I drove straight to Christine's house, where she was already waiting with 2 bottles of wine and my favorite takeout. Look what came in the mail today, I said, pulling out the mortgage statement and property deed. Christine's eyes widened as she read. Holy shit, it's official. You own it free and clear. 5 years, I said, my voice breaking. 5 years of payments, of secrets, of smiling through their jokes. And now they want to sell it for Simone's wedding? So don't let them. Christine poured us each a generous glass. The engagement gala is in 2 weeks. Everyone will be there. All their friends, Zaylee with her social media following. You want me to expose them publicly? I want you to stop being their doormat. She handed me a glass. They're planning to sell your house, Marley. Your house. What are you going to do about it? I took a long sip of wine, thinking about Mom's words. Knows her place. You know what? I said finally. I think it's time they learned exactly what my place is. Christine grinned. Now that's what I've been waiting to hear. Let's plan this properly. Are you sure you want to do this? Christine asked, watching me organize the stack of documents spread across my dining room table. Look at this, I said, holding up a bank statement. December 2018. Furnace died during the coldest week of the year. $8,000. Dad told everyone his business insurance covered it. I picked up another paper. March 2020. Property taxes due right after COVID hit. They thought the bank forgave the payment. No, that was me, working overtime during lockdown to cover it. Christine picked up the original deed transfer, examining my careful forgery of Dad's signature. You know this was technically fraud, right? I know. I shuffled the papers into chronological order. But the mortgage is paid now, and the deed's officially in my name. Nothing illegal about that. My phone buzzed. A text from Simone. Don't forget to RSVP for the gala. Wear something nice this time. I showed Christine the message. They're really going to try to sell my house at their party. Then RSVP, yes, Christine said, grabbing my phone. Let me do it. She typed quickly. Wouldn't miss it. And don't worry, I'll dress appropriately for the occasion. That sounds ominous, I laughed. Good. Christine handed the phone back. It should. I spent the next week gathering every receipt, every transfer record, every legal document proving my ownership. Each paper was a memory, a moment when I'd chosen family peace over personal recognition. The garage door opener I'd replaced last summer, the water heater from 2 years ago, the property insurance I'd maintained in Dad's name to keep up appearances. You're being methodical, Christine observed, watching me create a timeline. Like you're preparing for an audit. I am an auditor, I reminded her. If I'm going to do this, I'm doing it right. My phone rang, Mom's number. Darling, she trilled when I answered. We're meeting with the real estate agent tomorrow about the house. Just a preliminary discussion, you understand. No need for you to come. Of course not, I said smoothly. Why would I need to be there? Exactly. You're so good about these things, Molly, not making a fuss. Unlike your sister, she's insisting on interviewing every wedding planner in the state. I could hear Simone in the background. Mom, tell her about the dress budget. Oh, yes, Mom continued. We're thinking of increasing the wedding budget. That old house should fetch enough to cover everything Simone dreams of. You don't mind, do you? It's not like you're using it. My hand tightened around the phone. No, Mom, I don't mind at all. After hanging up, I turned to Christine. They're meeting a real estate agent tomorrow. Can they even do that without your permission? They don't know they need it. I pulled out my laptop. But I think it's time to make some calls of my own. I spent the afternoon contacting the property lawyer who'd helped me with the deed transfer. Then I called my bank, the insurance company, and finally, a real estate agent of my own. Just exploring my options, I told her. The property might be available soon. Christine watched me work, a small smile on her face. You're really doing this. They're going to hate me, I said quietly. They already take you for granted. What's the difference? My phone buzzed again, a message from Zaylee. Cuz, can't wait to see you at the gala. I'm handling all the social coverage. It's going to be epic. I showed Christine the message. Looks like we'll have an audience. Perfect. She picked up the property deed. Nothing like a live stream for maximum impact. I looked at the invitation on my fridge, 2 weeks away. The venue, the time, the dress code all spelled out in elegant script. Below it, a candid photo of Simone and Rhett beaming at the camera. You know what the worst part is? I said, staring at the invitation. They genuinely don't think they're doing anything wrong. They really believe they're entitled to my house. Then it's time they learned otherwise. Christine stood up, gathering her purse. Want to go shopping? If we're going to destroy their dreams, you should at least look amazing doing it. I glanced at the stack of documents, 5 years of secrets, ready to be exposed. You know what? Yes, I grabbed my keys. Let's find something unforgettable. As we left, my phone buzzed one last time. Mom again. Darling, the real estate agent says we could list as early as next month. Isn't that wonderful? Simone's dreams are finally coming true. I didn't respond. In 2 weeks, they'd all learn whose dreams really mattered. The vineyard estate glittered with thousands of fairy lights as I pulled into the parking lot. Zaylee's Instagram Live was already running, her cheerful voice narrating arrivals like a red carpet commentator. "And here comes the sister of the bride," she squealed as I stepped out of my car. "Marley's wearing..." "Oh." I smoothed down my simple black dress, expensive but understated. The manila envelope in my clutch felt heavy with purpose. "Marley," Mom's voice cut through the crowd, "couldn't you have worn something more festive? This is a celebration." "I dressed appropriately," I said, patting my envelope. "Trust me." Inside, the ballroom was a sea of champagne and designer dresses. Simone held court near the stage, Rhett's arm draped possessively around her waist. "Oh my God, you actually came," Simone called out. "And you're wearing black to my engagement party. How very... you." "Wouldn't miss it," I replied, accepting a glass of champagne from a passing waiter. Zaylee flitted around with her phone, documenting everything. "We've got over 1,000 viewers already. This is going viral. I can feel it." "Perfect timing," Simone announced, climbing onto the small stage. "Everyone, if I could have your attention." The crowd hushed. I noticed Dad standing alone near the bar, looking uncomfortable in his rented tuxedo. "First, I want to thank everyone for coming to celebrate our love story," Simone began, her voice syrupy sweet. "Rhett and I are so blessed to have such amazing friends and family." She paused, her eyes finding me in the crowd. "Speaking of family, I want to thank my sister Marley for being here. She's like wallpaper, really. Always there, never noticed, but somehow keeping everything together." Laughter rippled through the audience. I took another sip of champagne, waiting. "I mean, someone has to be the boring one, right?" Simone continued. "While I was traveling the world, modeling, living life, Marley was..." "What were you doing again? Spreadsheets?" More laughter. Zaylee zoomed in with her phone, capturing my face. "But that's what makes her special," Simone said with fake sincerity. "She never asks for attention, never demands anything, just stays in her lane, doing her little job." Mom stepped up next, taking the microphone. "And speaking of staying in lanes, we have a wonderful announcement to make." This was it. I slipped the envelope from my clutch. "As many of you know, we've lived in our family home for 30 years, Mom continued. "But now, to help make Simone's dream wedding a reality, we've decided to sell." Appreciative murmurs from the crowd. Dad's knuckles went white around his whiskey glass. "The market's excellent, and the house is nearly paid off," Mom beamed. "Sometimes things just work out perfectly, don't they? Marley doesn't have much, but her love is enough. Isn't that right, dear?" She gestured to me, expecting my usual quiet compliance. The crowd turned, waiting. "Actually," I said, my voice carrying clearly across the suddenly quiet room, "I'd like to say something." "Oh," Mom faltered. "Well, of course, but maybe later. Now would be better." I walked to the stage, my heels clicking against the hardwood floor. Zaylee's camera followed my every move. "Marley," Simone hissed, "don't make this about you." I took the microphone from Mom's reluctant hands. "You're right about one thing, Simone. I am always there, keeping everything together. But there's something you should know about that house you're planning to sell." I opened the envelope, pulling out the deed. "It's mine." The silence was absolute. Even the waiters stopped moving. "What do you mean, yours?" Mom laughed nervously. I mean, I own it, legally, completely. I have for the past 5 years. I held up the deed. Ever since Dad's business failed and we were about to lose everything. That's impossible, Simone snapped. Daddy handled all that. No, I said quietly. I did. Every mortgage payment, every repair, every tax bill, all from my little job that you love to mock. The crowd began to whisper. Zaylee's hands were shaking as she filmed. I have proof, I continued, pulling out more documents. Bank transfers, payment records, legal papers. Would anyone like to see them? They make for fascinating reading. Marley, Dad spoke for the first time, his voice cracking. I don't understand. It was simple, really, I said, looking directly into Zaylee's camera. While everyone was busy praising Simone's adventures and mocking my boring career, I was quietly saving our family home. And now you want to sell it for a wedding? I turned to Simone and Rhett. I'm afraid that won't be possible. But don't worry, I'm sure you can find a more modest venue, something within your actual budget. Then I placed the microphone gently on the stage and walked toward the exit, leaving behind a room full of stunned faces and dropped jaws. Holy shit, I heard Zaylee whisper into her phone. Did that just happen? Yes, it did, and I wasn't done yet. The pounding on my front door started at 2 a.m. I'd been waiting for it, sitting in my darkened living room with a glass of wine, watching Zaylee's video go viral. Open this door right now, Simone's voice echoed through the hallway. I know you're in there. I took my time walking to the door, unlocking it slowly. Simone burst in, mascara streaked down her face, still wearing her party dress. How could you? She screamed. How could you humiliate us like that? Humiliate you? I kept my voice level. By telling the truth? You did it on purpose. At my engagement party. In front of everyone. She paced my living room, her heels leaving marks on my hardwood floor. Do you know what people are saying? Rhett won't even answer my calls. Funny how quickly he disappeared when he realized there was no house to cash in on. Simone whirled to face me. This was supposed to be my moment, my special day. But you couldn't stand it, could you? You had to make it all about you. No, I said quietly. For 5 years, I made everything about you. About Mom, about Dad. I kept you all afloat while you treated me like dirt. You called me wallpaper, Simone, to my face, in front of hundreds of people. It was a joke. Was it funny when I paid $8,000 for a new furnace? Or when I refinanced the house in secret to stop the foreclosure? How about when I worked overtime during COVID to cover the property taxes while you posted Instagram stories about being bored in the Maldives? She collapsed onto my couch, her party dress pooling around her. Why didn't you just tell us? Would you have listened? Would Mom have stopped comparing us long enough to hear me? Would Dad have accepted help from his disappointing eldest daughter? That's not fair, she whispered. No, it wasn't fair. None of it was fair. I sat down across from her. But I did it anyway, because that's what the boring, reliable sister does, right? Keeps everything together while everyone else lives their best life. My phone buzzed. Another notification. Zaylee's video had passed 100,000 views. Mom's devastated, Simone said. She had to leave the party early. Her friends keep calling. Good. How can you be so cold? Cold? I laughed. I spent 5 years silently supporting this family. That's not cold. That's devotion. What's cold is planning to sell my house without even asking me. We didn't know it was yours. Would it have mattered if you did? Simone's silence was answer enough. The real estate agent you met with yesterday, I continued. She called me this morning. Apparently, she was quite surprised to learn the property wasn't actually available for sale. The wedding deposits are non-refundable, Simone said quietly. That sounds like a you problem. She stood up suddenly. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Finally getting your revenge on perfect little Simone? I'm not enjoying any of it, I replied, but I'm not apologizing either. You've ruined everything. No, I just stopped letting you ruin me. Simone grabbed her purse, mascara still streaming down her face. You know what? Keep the stupid house. Keep your moral high ground, but you've lost your family. I lost my family years ago, I said. I just finally stopped pretending otherwise. She stormed out, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the windows. I picked up my phone, watching the view count climb on Zaylee's video. The comments were flooding in. Queen behavior. The quiet ones always have receipts. That sister had it coming. Most satisfying revenge ever. Another text came through from Dad. Can we talk tomorrow, please? I stared at his message for a long moment before replying, Coffee shop on Main, 9 a.m. Then I opened my laptop and pulled up my bank account. The mortgage payment that had gone through automatically every month for 5 years was conspicuously absent. The money was mine now, to spend however I wanted. My phone buzzed again, Christine this time. Just saw Simone leave your building, you okay? I'm fine, I typed back. Actually, I'm better than fine. I'm free. And for the first time in 5 years, I truly was. The weight of secret payments and silent sacrifices lifted from my shoulders. Let them deal with the consequences of their actions for once. I poured myself another glass of wine and settled back into my chair, watching the sunrise through my window. Tomorrow would bring more confrontations, more drama, more fallout. But tonight I could finally breathe. Dad was already at the coffee shop when I arrived, looking older than I'd ever seen him. 2 cups sat on the table. He remembered I liked my coffee black. You look tired, I said, sliding into the seat across from him. Couldn't sleep. He pushed my coffee toward me. Your mother took sleeping pills. She's still in bed. And Simone? Rhett called off the engagement this morning. Said he needed time to reevaluate. Dad's mouth twisted. Funny how quickly he disappeared when the money did. Not funny at all, I said. Just predictable. We sat in silence for a moment, both staring into our cups. Why didn't you tell me? He finally asked. About the mortgage, the refinancing, all of it? Would you have let me help if I had? He flinched. I was supposed to take care of you girls, not the other way around. Yeah, well, life doesn't always go according to plan. The signature on the refinancing papers, he said quietly. That wasn't really mine, was it? I met his eyes. No. He nodded slowly. I should have known. The bank suddenly becoming understanding about the payments, the insurance covering all those repairs. It was too convenient. I did what I had to do. You shouldn't have had to do any of it. His voice cracked. I failed you, Marley. As a father, as a provider. Dad, no, let me finish. He pulled an envelope from his jacket. I found this in my desk last night. I wrote it 3 years ago on your birthday, but I never had the courage to give it to you. I opened the envelope. The paper inside was creased, the ink slightly faded. Dear Marley, I see you. I see how you keep us all together while asking nothing in return. I see the quiet strength that your mother mistakes for weakness. I see the sacrifices you make that Simone takes for granted. I'm sorry I'm not brave enough to say this in person. I'm sorry I let my pride keep me silent. Most of all, I'm sorry I let you carry this burden alone. You deserved better from me. Love, Dad. My hand shook as I folded the letter. Why didn't you send it? Because admitting I saw what you were doing meant admitting my own failure. He wiped his eyes. It was easier to pretend. Until now, he agreed. Zaylee's video has over 1 million views. Everyone knows. My phone buzzed. Another notification. I glanced at it. Your story has been shared in our Justice Served. Mom's friends keep calling, Dad continued. The country club is buzzing, and Simone. I know. She came to my apartment last night. She told me what you said about losing your family years ago. He reached across the table, taking my hand. Were we really that blind? You were that comfortable, I corrected. It was easier to let me handle everything while pretending nothing was wrong. I have no right to ask this, he said slowly. But what happens now? With the house? I'm meeting with a real estate agent next week. Not Mom's agent, my own. You're selling it? Maybe. Or renting it out? Either way, it's my decision now. He nodded, squeezing my hand. For what it's worth, I'm proud of you. Not just for last night, but for everything. For being stronger than I ever was. Dad, no, let me say this. You're not the disappointing daughter. You never were. We were the disappointing parents. My phone buzzed again. A text from Zaylee. OMG, cuz, you're trending. Everyone's calling you the revenge accountant. Dad saw the message and actually laughed. Revenge accountant? Well, I suppose there are worse titles. Could have been worse, I agreed. They could have called me wallpaper again. His face darkened. What Simone said at the party, that wasn't right. No, it wasn't. None of it was right. I stood up, gathering my purse. But it's done now. Will you? He hesitated. Will you keep in touch, even if you sell the house? I looked at my father, really looked at him, the proud man who'd raised me, broken by failure, finally seeing me clearly. Coffee, I said. Once a week, just us. His smile was watery but real. I'd like that. As I walked to my car, another text came through, from Mom. I didn't open it. Some conversations could wait. For now, this one was enough. You've gone viral, Christine said, scrolling through her phone. Like, seriously viral. There are TikTok recreations of your speech. We were sitting in my office during lunch break, watching the fallout unfold. My email inbox was flooded with messages from distant relatives and strangers alike. Listen to this one, Christine continued. Dear revenge accountant, you're my hero. I showed your video to my sister who's been mooching off our parents for years. She finally got a job interview tomorrow. My phone rang. Again. Mom's number. Again. I declined it. Again. That's the 8th time today, I noted. She's getting persistent. Have you read any of her texts? I pulled up the latest one. Darling, please. The ladies at the club are asking questions. We need to discuss damage control. Damage control, I scoffed. That's all she cares about. My office door opened. My boss Sandra stepped in. Marley, got a minute? I followed her to her office, expecting the worst. The video had made local news. Surely the firm wouldn't want this kind of attention. So, Sandra said, closing the door. I saw the video. I can explain. No need. She smiled. Actually, we've had 3 potential clients call this morning, specifically requesting the accountant from the video. Apparently, they want someone who's thorough with documentation. I blinked. Really? Really? How would you feel about taking on some bigger clients? Maybe even making partner track? Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. A text from Simone. Rhett's engaged. To someone else. Already. I hope you're happy. Everything okay? Sandra asked. Family drama, I said. Still ongoing. Take the afternoon off, she suggested. Handle what you need to. We'll discuss the promotion tomorrow. Back at my desk, Christine was still reading messages. Your cousin Zaylee's follower count tripled. She's getting sponsorship offers. At least someone's benefiting, I muttered, showing her Simone's text. Wow, Christine whistled. That was fast, even for Rhett. He found another house to cash in on, I'm sure. My phone rang again, but this time it was the real estate agent. Ms. Spencer, I have 3 offers on the house already, all over asking price. Word got out about the video, and apparently everyone wants the revenge property. I laughed despite myself. The revenge property? It's got quite the story now. These offers are serious. We should meet soon. After hanging up, I turned to Christine. Want to help me pack up the house this weekend? Absolutely. But first, look at this. She held up her phone, showing me a local news website. The headline read, "Local Woman's Viral Revenge Reveals Hidden Family Financial Abuse." Financial abuse? I echoed. They're calling you a spokesperson for hidden domestic labor and financial exploitation. There's a whole Twitter thread about how your story exposes systemic. A knock at my office door interrupted her. A delivery man stood there with a massive flower arrangement. "Delivery for Marley Spencer?" The card read, "To my daughter. I'm sorry I didn't see your value sooner. Love, Dad." "Well," Christine said softly. That's new. My phone buzzed again, an email from a publishing agent. "Your story has resonated with millions. Would you be interested in writing a book about financial empowerment and family dynamics?" "This is getting ridiculous," I muttered. "No," Christine corrected. "This is karma. Sweet, viral karma." Another text from Mum. "People are unfollowing me on Instagram. Please, we need to present a united front." I deleted it without responding. "You know what the craziest part is?" I said to Christine. "I didn't do this for fame or revenge or any kind of message. I just couldn't take being invisible anymore." Sometimes the most powerful messages are the ones we didn't plan to send. My office phone rang. The front desk. "Ms. Spencer? There's a Mrs. Spencer here to see you. She says she's your mother." I looked at Christine, who raised her eyebrows. "Your call." "Tell her I'm in a meeting," I said, "and will be all afternoon." "Running away?" Christine asked. "No," I replied, gathering my things. "Setting boundaries. I'm done being available whenever they need me." "Speaking of boundaries," Christine grinned, "want to look at condos this weekend? After we pack up the revenge property?" I smiled, looking at the flower arrangement from Dad, the promotion offer on my desk, and the dozens of supportive messages flooding my phone. "You know what? Yes, it's time for a fresh start." "The Revenge Accountant's new chapter," Christine teased. "Stop calling me that." "Never. You're trending." I laughed, really laughed for the first time in days. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about finally being seen. The keys felt heavy in my hand as I locked the front door of my childhood home for the last time. The sold sign in the yard caught the morning light, a final punctuation mark on this chapter of my life. "Need help with that last box?" Christine called from her car. "No, I've got it." I carried the small box, filled with the only items I'd kept from the house, to my car. Dad's letter was on top, along with a few family photos from happier times. My phone buzzed. A text from Simone. "They're demolishing the house next week. The new owners are building something modern. Happy now?" I didn't respond. Instead, I opened Instagram, where Zaylee had posted a final photo of the house. "End of an era. But some endings are really beginnings. Proud of you, cuz." The comments were still flowing in, even weeks after the video. Best revenge story ever. She really said watch me and showed them all. Financial queen energy. My phone rang. Mom's weekly attempt at contact. This time I answered. "Darling," she started, her voice artificially bright. "I just drove by the house. There's a sign." "Yes, I sold it. Above asking price." Without consulting the family? It wasn't the family's house to consult about. A pause. "We could have worked something out, found a compromise." "Like what? Letting Simone have her dream wedding in exchange for my lifetime of payments? That's not a compromise, Mom. That's exploitation." "You're being dramatic." "No, I'm being honest. There's a difference." I got into my car. "I have to go." "Where? To your new condo? The one you wouldn't tell us about?" "Goodbye, Mom." I hung up and started the engine. Christine followed in her car as we drove through the neighborhood one last time. At the coffee shop where Dad and I now met weekly, he was waiting with our usual order. "All done?" he asked as I sat down. "All done. The new owners take possession tomorrow." He nodded, sliding an envelope across the table. I know you don't need it, but I've been saving. It's not much, but it's 5 years of mortgage payments. What I should have been paying. Dad, no. Please, let me do this one thing right. I opened the envelope. Inside was also a small key. What's this? To my new apartment, he said quietly. Your mother. We're separating. She doesn't know I'm telling you yet. Dad, it's not because of you, he added quickly. Well, not entirely. Your video just made me realize how long I've been pretending. In my marriage, in my business, with my children. Are you okay? He smiled, a real smile, not the strained one I'd grown up with. Getting there. The weekly coffee helps. My phone buzzed again. An email from my publisher. Final draft received. The Invisible Daughter, a memoir of family, finance, and finding your voice goes to print next month. Still can't believe you wrote a book, Dad chuckled. Still can't believe people want to read it. I read the advance copy you sent, he said. It was hard, but honest. That's what I promised myself I'd be from now on. Honest, Christine texted. Your new place is ready. Movers just finished. Want to get lunch after your coffee? Go, Dad said, seeing the message. Start your new chapter. I stood, then hesitated. Same time next week? Wouldn't miss it. Outside, the autumn air was crisp with possibility. My new condo was across town, in a quiet neighborhood where nobody knew me as the revenge accountant or the viral video girl or the disappointing daughter. Christine was waiting in the parking lot. Ready? Almost. I pulled out my phone and opened Mum's contact. After a moment's hesitation, I didn't block her, but I did mute her notifications. That's growth, Christine observed. It's boundaries, I corrected. I'm done being available 24/7 for other people's emergencies. Speaking of emergencies, Christine grinned. Your travel agent called. Your tickets to Europe are confirmed. I smiled, thinking of the trip I'd always dreamed of but never taken, too busy saving money for family crises. You know what the best revenge really is? I said as we drove toward my new home. Finally putting yourself first. That, Christine agreed, and going viral, exposing your entitled family doesn't hurt either. I laughed, feeling lighter than I had in years. The house was sold, the book was finished, and my carefully maintained facade of family peace was finally, thankfully shattered. I didn't get my family back, but I got myself back, and that was finally enough.